Hey, Tasha.
Hi, good evening.
Hugs to you. Hugs.
Oh, I definitely need hugs tonight. So thank you very much.
Oh, so I am Sharon.
Yes, and I'm Tasha, and we're the Accountability Queens.
Yes. And this is our AQ chat. And each week we come up and we talk about a different topic that's important to us and the people that we serve. We're accountability partners and accountability coaches. And we encourage and engage women who want to be their best, do their best, see their best. We help them do it. We are the wind beneath their wings. It's amazing. It's amazing. We have such wonderful women in our tribe. And
Yes.
just excited about the growth that they're doing.
So first of all, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes.
If you're watching the replay because you missed our original time, we had to apologize, because there was some scheduling conflicts.
There was some technical, more than anything, there was some technical.
Scheduling conflicts and some technical conflicts, because I definitely tried to let people know that it was postponed, but I don't know if that post ever made it up because
right. And I couldn't get on Facebook and it was a problem. And so
who knows?
Who knows what's who.
But listen, if you're out there, shout us out. I'm watching the comments. I want to shout you out.
Yes.
And appreciate you all for joining us tonight.
Yes. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel so you can know when we're coming up next.
Yeah. Hopefully you got an alert tonight if you're on. Appreciate you. What are we talking about tonight?
So tonight we're talking about the myth of the strong Black woman.
Oh.
Let's just get into it, right? Hi, Gail.
Hey, Gail. This is live.
This is live. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, let's get into it. So you and I were talking about this week. I certainly grew up believing that I wanted to be a strong Black woman. I was surrounded by strong Black women. I was. Yeah. It was a goal. It was a desire. It was a model. It was something to seek, a badge of honor.
Yeah.
As I have come into womanhood and adulthood, I realized, not as much as I thought.
I think it's just a reframing of the definition. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things that I've learned since we've been partners is about vulnerability and it being strength, right? And so I think when society defines strong Black woman, it's, she can stand against anything and she can take anything and just keep beating her and she's going to keep standing back up and she can do all things by herself and doesn't need any help and never cries and all that sort of thing, right? But I think we're just in an age where we're having to redefine strong, right?
Well, and let's just say also, let's just go back to the original, right? To your point, don't cry, don't need no help, can get it done, manage, raise 4 boys on her own, with no money,
$1.50 a week,
$1.50, but could be an electrician, right? Can can handle a hammer. I mean, the reality is that woman is stressed. That woman is unhealthy. That woman needs support. That woman is not to be, while to be respected, she is to be helped. And whether or not we have learned of, Gail says she never knew of that model.
Well, there are anomalies.
There are anomalies.
We're talking generalizations here, right? The Wachter women are different. We get it.
Well, but she can also share what model she did know she wants to share. But that said, that's a woman who has a lot of burden on her back.
Right.
And I think when we as young women are given this badge, you want to be a strong Black woman, the other side of the coin isn't given, that's a very tiring, stressful, unhealthy, and at times lonely position to be in.
Right. How long is that strength going to last?
Hi, Queens. Yvonne Suber says, how are you? Right. How long does that strength last? It's
Right.
not sustainable.
Not sustainable.
So let me ask you, have you attempted, or did you grow up wanting, desiring, or are you a strong Black woman? I mean, how would you define it today?
Oh, for sure. Of course, especially when I left home and I was out on my own. I had my own apartment, my own car, my own job. I pay my own bills. You know what I'm saying? Like in that whole dating world, I was like, I don't need you. And I've, actually said that before. And it was that whole, because I'm a strong Black woman, I can do for myself.
Right.
Right. When in actuality, like we weren't made to be alone on this earth. Right. And I just had to grow and evolve to the point where I could ask for help. Right. Even on my own, I'd get to a point where it was tight, right? And I needed to go back to my parents and ask for help. And it was, you can't wait till the last minute to ask for help, because then it's too late, right? You need to ask when you know that there's going to be a situation. And so I learned, and I'm still learning today, right? As a mother of 3 and a wife, and I work full time and got a business and am in school, right? Like I carry a lot, and it is hard to ask for help because I have done a lot without help.
Right. Well, I mean, but also there is, again, when you're faced with, or you're given the notion that to strive to be a strong Black woman, many of us are raised not to depend on a man, because you don't know. And I understand mothers teaching that to their daughters. Right. And Gail says, my motto was responsible, handle your business, be open to help from true supporters. Okay. And so, right.
That's a great motto, Gail. I had to get there, but it's what I'm living now. Yeah. Being responsible, handling my business.
Listen, some of us may have had a mother who said, don't be a damsel in distress. Right. And so if that is said to you, right, you can associate that thinking with asking for help means you're being some mythical, figure sitting up in some tower waiting for someone to come rescue you.
Right.
When no, in fact, you really just need some help, and you can't be afraid to help. I'm going to be honest, I'm not very good at asking for help.
You're not.
I'm not good at asking for help at all. It is not natural. It is not. No.
And what model do you feel like you were taught? Why is it difficult for you to ask for help? And have you evolved to where you are better at asking than you used to be at all?
So I'm better. But I have, to a fault, become very self-sufficient. And I'm going to say to a fault. So yes, I had a strong model who was very self-sufficient and who imparted that on me. I think out of necessity, right? And I think that's a fair thing to do out of necessity. But again, like I said, there's a flip coin to that. There's a lot of stress that comes with it. And so I am just starting to understand that it's okay to ask for help. Like, so, recently you and I have been just going through a roller coaster of things going on in our life. Right. And so I was blessed, quite frankly, where I didn't have to ask for help, where I had this entire village, this entire army of beautiful people who came and supported me and offered help. And it's so breathtaking that I would not even know I didn't even know that was an option. I would never have thought to ask for it. I would never have thought to expect it, quite frankly, right? Because my mind is figuring out how you're going to get it done yourself.
Yeah.
That's how I'm wired, and I'm trying to unprogram that.
But I think, in your situation specifically, that it was just sort of it's a reciprocal relationship, right? Because you do have very close relationships, right? With your family, with your tribe, with your village,
With my
right?
village. I have an amazing village.
You give, right? And as you pour in, when you create this village, as you pour in, when it's time for you to call your card, then it's there, right? And oftentimes you don't even have to raise your hand to say I need it, because you are that close and people just show up. And so I think it's just a testament to who you are.
Well, thank you. But
Yeah,
there's
for
a flip side, right? There are women who never ask for help and then get frustrated because people don't offer help. But they don't realize they have projected this image of I can do it all by myself. I've got it all handled. And so people don't come in and say, well, I'm going to help you out, because you always act like you got it. You don't need my help. And that's the other, again, the double-edged sword of being the strong Black woman. People then sometimes just don't come to help because they never think you need it, nor do you ever show interest in having it.
Yeah, or offering it.
Or right.
Yeah. I think that we should be honest when people ask the question, what can I do for you? Right? Because if you're going through something and you have friends, sometimes people may not know how to step up, right? And your situation was different. People just stepped up. They kind of knew what to do and knew what you needed, right? But oftentimes the relationships aren't like that. And so if for me, if I genuinely want to help people, right? So if I call you and I say, is there anything I can do? Or, let me know if there's something I can do. And I want people to be ready to honestly answer that. And so I have, right? What can I do? I just need to go to the grocery store. I just need somebody to come and watch these kids just for a couple hours, just so I can just step outside these doors, because I don't want to be here right now. That's it. And I've had girlfriends that have done that for me.
Yeah.
They come in and play with the kids, and I can just walk around Target for 2 hours if I want to. You know what I mean? But I think we have to honestly answer that question, what can I do? And then honestly offer.
Yeah. I think honestly ask and honestly recognize that you need the help. And it's okay. It's not a sign of weakness. I think I grew up with the sense of, if you need to ask for help, it is a sign of weakness. Wrongly, well, clearly it was wrong, but that's kind of how I saw it. And so again, I'm coming to the table of, what do I have to do to get this on my own? And that's the only way I've thought. And that, I think, has hindered me in some ways. And again, to your point, I'm growing. Yeah.
Gail says some women make poor choices and are forced into a strength position that they do not ask for. I agree that can happen, right? Because life happens to all of us. But even if you are forced into this strength position, women are here to lift women up. We're here for each other. And so even if you're forced into this position, I do feel like we should still uplift each other, and you should be able to ask for help.
So let's go back to how women raise daughters to not depend on a man, right? Because that ends up impacting their relationship with men.
That's a whole nother conversation, right? You about to take a full-on tangent. If you'd like to add that to the list, we might need a whole nother session for that. That's just my vote for this evening. I'm not ready for that.
Well, let me say that. So Yvonne says, I agree, I was forced. Right. You may become a widow, right? Let's say, God forbid, someone's out there and they lose their husband, and they're now find themselves to be in a situation. And I know scenarios where the partner leaves or dies or goes away for whatever reason, and they're left with financial responsibilities, and they had never taken care of any financial responsibility. Yeah. Right. That woman will have a very hard lesson learned that she's going to teach her daughter. Don't you ever have your own money? We've had that conversation, right?
Yes.
Always have your money. If you need to walk, you can walk.
For sure. I'm
Always
just gonna
have
sip
your
my
own money.
wine over here.
You know, right? And that's a very important point to make. I mean, and that's a lesson that, of course, it's natural. You don't want your child to have to go through, and you want them to make better choices, be better prepared than say you were. So I understand how it happens. You know, it's just the other part of that.
But that woman that is left widowed, right? She should not feel any less strong asking for help, right? I don't know anything about this whole finance thing because I wasn't involved. I mean, back in the day, that's just the way the world was, right? Men just took care of the finance. They took care of the wife, right? And so now he's gone. You ain't never balanced a checkbook before. That's okay. Somebody can teach you how to do that. Somebody can help you through that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and so then, okay, now you're speaking to something else. There could be shame associated with that, right? There's shame. I don't know how. Listen, I know a very personal situation, or I know a family going very, very much like this. Doesn't know the woman, and a woman of a certain age, and well past a woman of a certain age, doesn't know anything about the finances going on in her house. Nothing. Nothing. And her daughter is coming in and, you know, is just inserting herself in the situation and say, what the heck is going on? And as a result of seeing just how much her mom didn't know, she is now educating herself so that her daughter, she doesn't want to end up where her mother was. Again, mother couldn't ask for help. Mother didn't know how to ask for help. She had been conditioned.
She didn't know she needed help.
Had been conditioned, in essence. Had been, yeah. And if not for this daughter coming in and showing some level, I mean, who has strength that she didn't have, and she didn't ask for help, but her daughter inserted. And again, it's a dangerous position to be in.
Yeah. So if you had to redefine the strong Black woman today, and I think, so if you had to redefine the strong Black woman and what she should look like to survive, what would you say?
Well, she should be 5 foot, a stately and statuesque 5 foot. She should be able to wear a curl. You know what I mean? Have a smile.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But if I were to, I would say a woman who is competent and confident to go after what she wants, what she needs, what she aspires to be and do. And at the same time, be able to acknowledge what she doesn't know and ask for help without feeling any less than.
Yeah. I think I might just add, and she has an accountability partner. Boom.
And she has an accountability partner. All right. So let's just talk about how we have helped each other with the myth of the strong Black woman.
Yeah. I mean, for me specifically, you calling me out on saying, hey, you don't have to do that all by yourself, right? Either I'm here, or, you know, your husband is there, or you have people around you that can help. Reach out, call, right? Because just like any situation with us, when you're in it and there's so much emotion around it, sometimes you can't even see clearly on the direction you should go, right? And so that's been helpful for me. As well as from the health perspective, saying you need to take a break. That's it. Yeah. Because I will push and push and push and push and go and go and go and go until I keep going. I was going to say until, I mean,
Yeah.
so for me, those two things, telling me to stop and helping me recognize that there are people around and I have to speak up.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say, listen, I don't know. I'm not comfortable asking for help. So having you just offer the help, because I don't even know, it doesn't appeal. It doesn't even come into my thought of thinking. It just doesn't. It's how do I figure out how to get this done?
Yeah.
And so offering, and then maybe say, okay, well, how about if I do this? Right. But not only offering the one time, following up, because I may not know at that time. And then you say, okay, well, here's what I can do. So the offering, I think, helps me to understand, oh, okay, got it. This is very helpful. This is very helpful.
Yeah. I think also you may have gotten to a particular safe space in our relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can say, I need you to hold my hand on this one.
Yeah. But let's be honest. Those are the more easier things, right? So, all right, for those watching, Tasha and
Does
I.
it matter if it's easy or not?
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's still a practice in asking for help.
Okay, that's true. So, but okay, so
that's all I'm saying.
No, I think that's fair. So for people who are watching, Tasha and I, we're not literally holding each other's hand, but we're metaphorically.
On this side.
Yeah, this side, yeah. Metaphorically, if there's something difficult that we are avoiding, right? There are follow-ups that we just feel like, we might feel like it when having to sit down and manage our budget. It's like, right? Even though when we get to the other side of it, we feel much better and more confident in what we're doing and actually feel stronger and clear about our path. But the reality is getting to the process of sitting down and doing your bill sometimes is like, which is how our Financial Friday started. And so it's like, I'm gonna need you to hold my hand because it's just overwhelming. So, which means that we just might get on a Zoom call and she might be doing finances and I'll be doing finances and we'll just be talking to each other because someone else is going through it at the same time we're going through it. So that's what we metaphorically. So I was saying that was easy, but you're right. It's a step in the right direction.
Yep. Is there something you can think of in your life right now that you need help with?
No.
Oh, okay. Gail says, oh, the bigger issue, she's back on the whole man thing. The bigger issue is that men who are insecure label or define strong Black women. So the origin of the myth is important. Hey, Dana.
Hey, Detailer.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. So to Gail's point, yes, there are insecure men. And then there are burdened women who are identifying as this person and don't know how to not be anything but this mythical creature. And then let's just because historically, as slaves, there was a lot put on our back and we were taking care of the slave master's family, our family, in the fields, right? So historically, let's just talk about the origins of this. And we had to cope with all the burdens of the horrors of what was going on there. Right?
Yeah, I agree. The history is important and the origin is important. And I'm not suggesting that we get rid of the strong Black woman at all. I feel like it should be redefined. Our strength should be defined in support and vulnerability and togetherness, right?
Yeah. Right. So you and I are a fan of Brene Brown.
I am.
And so if anyone on Netflix, Brene Brown has a special, I don't know what it's called, but just type in Brene Brown, Brene, Brene Brown. And she talks about how vulnerability is actually a strength. And because it takes courage to show that you're strong. I mean, that you're
Yeah.
that you need help, or that you feel something that may not
Yeah.
be well received. That takes courage.
And
That
it takes a
vulnerability.
couple of times, right? I mean, it takes as a process, like learning it. You can't just like listen to her one time. It's like, oh, it clicks, right? But I mean, because I'm still for sure learning it
Yeah.
and standing in my valid feelings and expressing the needs that I have, you know?
Yeah. And you ladies are redefining for the young ladies who are coming behind you. Oh, well, thank you, Gail. We appreciate that.
Thanks.
We've had
And
great models.
Dana says absolutely, right? For the Brene Brown, I think probably that, yeah, it's a process. So
it's a process. She says, me too. It is. It's a process. And I thought, you know, I saw Brene Brown first. And I remember you were getting ready to go to Florida. And I was like, oh, you got to watch this on your way down to Florida. You need something to do in the car for 15, 18, 24 hours.
15, 18, 24. What did I tell you? I get car sick. I can't.
Well, you did. Eventually you watched it though.
I did.
You did watch it. And it was a great learn. And we often go back to trying to push ourselves to be vulnerable. Because that is a sign of courage.
Yeah. I think another important thing is, you know, the safe space that we talked about. And so, you know, just kind of circling back to who we are and what we do, I think part of, you know, our teaching and training and coaching is about this exact type of growth, right? And changing our mindset around certain things and creating that safe space for you to be vulnerable. And creating these sisterhoods that we didn't even know was a part of this, right? But you know, the sisterhoods where we can uplift each other. So
yeah, we're doing it. So we are redefining the definition of the strong Black woman. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So that is going to do it for us this evening, unless you want to join us on Instagram, because we're about to do this on Instagram.
Come on over.
If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll be back next week. We'll have another cool topic that we'll be talking about. Come, if you want to get coaching with us, we'd love to for you to join us, and we'll join you. You can go to accountabilityqueens.com. or email us at info@accountabilityqueens.com. All right, Tasha.
Yes. All right. What? Queens Rise. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.